What's up, everybody? It's Alex Winking Michael, and I'm finally back with a new video, new setup, new camera, all these things. I'm still not quite done building the setup, but I wanted to do a little test video here, got rid of the background. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Do you guys like the border that has my my logo and things like that, or do you like a clean look? I'm actually genuinely interested to know, but I figured I'd try a clean look now that I got a new camera. I'm still trying to figure it out, so I apologize if some things are out of focus. I really want the background to focus in a little bit better, but I understand that that's kind of counterproductive to what cameras do because they focus on the subject. But either way, that's neither here nor there. Let's get into today's article. And I'm going to be honest with you on this one. I started to read it one way, and then it kind of has turned into a completely different thing for me. So today I'm talking about an article that dropped on PC Gamer. It's about NetherRealm Studios and Mortal Kombat developer and the crunch time. And I thought, oh, here we go again. More people complaining about having to work a little bit too hard on games. And I understand it from an employee's perspective that it can be frustrating, especially when you have no leadership. When there's nobody driving the train and organizing things and saying, hey, this is the task that we need to knock out each day, really driving it towards a productive direction. I get it when you're an employee and then all of a sudden the last 6 months they're like, oh God, we got to put a game out. We got to start working here. But the games industry to me is notorious. I've had a few friends that are in it that have worked in very similar situations to this, but they oftentimes felt like, well, I really got to kind of chill for 6 months, and then all of a sudden, for 6 months, I really had to work. It's like it just seemed like there's no direction in some of these studios for actually really putting out product, beyond just a crunch. But I started to say, oh, great, here's another one. But I got to tell you, when I started to read the meat of this article, it really is pretty ridiculous what's going on at NetherRealm. It's absolutely embarrassing, and it's a joke. But let's get in the article here. As always, the article will be posted in the description below. But here's what we got. So this is PC Gamer. Former dev speaks out about severe crunch at Mortal Kombat Studio. 80 to 100-hour work weeks are common at NetherRealm for weeks or months at a time while contractors struggle with low pay. That's the side of it that it bothers me, but it doesn't bother me as much as some of the other stuff in this article that really shows some gross negligence by NetherRealm. It kind of goes on. Tuesday's report about a brutal crunch on Fortnite's development at Epic Games has spurred former NetherRealm developers to speak out about the working conditions at the Mortal Kombat studio. These allegations on Twitter from a former full-time employee and multiple former contractors paint an unpleasant picture of long periods of crunch throughout the development of Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and the Injustice fighting games. PC Gamer also spoke with 4 former members of NetherRealm's contractor QA team, who corroborated with the reports of months-long crunch and poor pay for contract workers during the time at the company. I'll just go into some of the quotes here because there's a lot to this, not as much as some of the other ones, but quote, I hardly slept, I'm grumpy at home, I have no energy to go out, getting a weekend away from work is a major achievement. If I take a Saturday off, I feel guilty, I'm not being forced to work this way, but I don't, then the job won't get done. It's been 8 years, they made it clear to me that I'm persona non grata there anyway, F it. Working at NetherRealm on MK9 nearly killed me. I didn't sleep more than 4 hours for months. From January to April 2011, I was at work more than half of the time. We talked over email with another former QA tester, Isaac Torres, who worked at NetherRealm from 2012 to 2013 on Injustice, is now a designer at Allen Galaxy. I crunched for 4 months straight. I was regularly doing 90 to 100-hour work weeks and worked every single day, he wrote. I was tired all the time. Took me 30 to 45 minutes to get home because I had to take the bus, but I know someone who stayed on the couch in the office to not risk falling asleep. I literally had no life for several months. Here's Rebecca, I think, no, this is Beck, please. Beck Halstead. My second or third week of work, a new temp environment artist sat down next to me and was working on getting his desk set up. The first thing that an FT person said to him was, ready to die from crunch. I will never forget that. I and most other contractors, some of the most talented junior level workers that games have to offer, worked at $12 an hour to work on a AAA game. Unless you were a woman like me, we got $11 an hour. I don't know about that. That's speculative for sure. I mean, you're calling yourself the most talented junior level worker. Maybe so. Maybe there is an unfair wage gap, but I don't know. I don't know enough about NetherRealm Studios to understand that. But there is definitely an issue with culture and accountability over there, and we'll get into that here in a second. But here's former NetherRealm QA analyst Rebecca Rothschild, backed up Halstead's statements, writing on Twitter, "I worked as a contractor and can confirm everything that Beck Halstead has laid out there. Lots of amazing people work at NRS, but there are serious systemic issues that need to be addressed. There's no doubt about that. It sounds to me like this place is a walking disaster." We spoke with Rothschild about her work on Mortal Kombat. She painted a similar picture of poor treatment, severe, massive crunch periods, trying to make submission deadlines. Quote, "For each one, it felt like we were coming in hotter and hotter." She said, "I was working 90 to 1 hour work weeks for both titles. I can personally say from my recollection that nothing improved from MK10 to Injustice 2. Everything was down to the wire. Everything was worse." She described the periods as crunch as a blur. 100-hour work weeks. She said she was paid $12 an hour. "We were second-class citizens. That was made clear in many little ways." She said a supervisor tried to make QA feel lucky for extra pay that resulted from crunch overtime work. That's a pretty poor tactic. That's just a shame. I mean, this money's great, but I have no life. I'm working myself to death. What does good this company really do to me? But let's get into some of the other stuff. So this is a lot of stuff. I don't know what a QA tester or analyst is supposed to make. $12 an hour does seem horrible. I think that's probably not right. And definitely, there's just better ways to compensate people than to expect them to work 90 to 100 hours a week. If you were somewhat organized as a company, leadership-wise, you wouldn't have to do this. You could compensate these employees at $16 to $20 an hour, have them work 40 hours a week, have them be thrilled, happy, productive, because you're a good leader, not because you can't get your shit together. But either way, here's the one that really rubbed me the wrong way. Another former employee who has also requested anonymity said they and a workmate filed a formal complaint about NetherRealm Studios with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. So it sounds like, and this is where they said, "We brought up the harassment, the bathroom issue, the secret nicknames that the devs had for female employees, the lack of women who actually had full-time jobs, the singling out that we experienced, etc., etc. It took a year for the EEOC to decide that apparently nothing bad had happened. And on top of it all, NRS insulted my coworker and me, telling us we were misremembering everything and taking personal jabs at our skills," they told us. "We tried to get others involved, but they were scared of getting blacklisted and being retaliated against, which made our case harder to get pushed through. NetherRealm's, quote, lawyered up against us," they added, "but they took no direct action against them as a result of the complaint." That's the hard part about this, and maybe why it's at the bottom of the article and not necessarily a headline, because you probably only have one or two people saying this story. It'd be hard to really lead with this, and I understand, a journalist maybe saying, okay, this is worth mentioning because it is on record. Somebody actually told us about this, but it's not, I can't lead with it, especially if there's nothing to corroborate it. I gotta say though, where there's crumbs, there's cake. And this seems like a situation where there's definitely a lot of negligence, a really piss poor culture, just a terrible work environment in general. But here's what I'll say. This stuff's really, really unacceptable. This is a joke that a company can operate this way when you're trying to put out multi-million-dollar titles. But I mean, you look through this article. There's mention of people walking around in their pajamas because they couldn't get home, to change. Guy walked around in his bathrobe. I mean, what kind of culture are you driving over there? And at some of these game studios, you're going to have unions come in. You think your life's rough now? Just wait until these people really start to wreak havoc on you because they're sick of working in environments like these. I mean, I understand that sometimes there's people that take advantage of complaining and maybe there's not some merit to what they're saying. But now we have major publications, multiple stories, multiple studios being involved in this. So obviously there's something to this. There's definitely something there. I got to tell you, video game companies, developers, the industry as a whole, you better get it together because this is not going to go away. You're going to be in a world of shit if you don't fix this. I mean, people are going to complain. They're going to unionize. Then you're going to have to deal with that. Get this stuff. This is Leadership 101. How to manage people. This is so simple. Maybe hey, bud, you can't roll in at 10 a.m. You're here at 8. Stop it. I mean, stop creating this culture of trying to be, we're laid back and cool until 6 months before the title comes out, and then you really got to work your ass off and slave away forever until it's out. That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Set expectations, hold people accountable, create a production schedule that is actually has attainable goals for the development cycle of a game. I mean, I don't even have to be in the games industry to make this for you. How hard is this? Create expectations and people will meet them. It's that simple. And if they don't, you coach them up. And if they don't after that, you coach them out. I don't get it. This is so simple to me. I don't even understand. Be good leaders, because ultimately this falls on the leadership, and that's it. But that's all for today's video, guys. Sorry for the rant at the end. I just want to say thank you all so much for the support. I'm still kind of working on some of the setup, trying to get, I got some sound panels to put in up here, but I'm going to do a setup tour video soon. I can't wait to show you guys kind of what I'm working with. Probably should have done a before video, but that ship has sailed. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below about NetherRealm Studios and Mortal Kombat, and then just this whole crunch thing in general that's kind of been coming out over the last couple weeks. Also, please like and subscribe. I should be back pretty consistently now and have nothing else to build. But thank you all so much for the support. Got a lot more videos coming in. But anything you guys want to see, want covered, let me know. I'm on Twitter. Follow me there. Interact with me there. All that good stuff. But thank you all again, and I will see you all on the next one.